Hi, my name is Brian Coley. I am the Chief Creative Officer of Real Experiences, and it's a new year, and you're probably setting New Year's goals and resolutions, and I want to give you a different paradigm, like a story paradigm, for you to figure out how to go after this new year. So let's get into it. Here we go. As basically, I'm just saying whatever comes to my brain. Not going to be edited very well. No, I'm not talking out my butt. Hi, my name is Brian Coley. I am the Chief Creative Officer. So I don't know if you're a lot like me, but I am not a big fan of New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals. And yet at the same time, I'm a person who really does like to reflect on my life and look at, well, where am I? Where is my life heading? Where is my story going? And so I had to come up with an idea of what do I do with the new year? How do I approach it in a way that's helpful to me, who is not really one of those people who thrives off of resolutions and goals. So I came up with, as a story guy, I came up with the only way I knew how to navigate this, which is story. And if you know anything about story, you know that there's plot and character and theme. And those things are kind of the triad, the Venn diagram of what is a story. And so I know in 2024, I'm going to live out a plot. Probably I won't have a whole lot of control over that. Maybe I will, I know I'm going to, as a character, express myself and I'm going to grow as a character and I'm going to change. But I think a lot of people don't think about the concept of theme in their story, that they're living out a theme and that other people can see the theme working out in their lives, almost like as if you were watching a movie. If you're watching a movie, you know that writer and director has something that they're trying to tell you, has something that they want you to take away. That is the theme of a movie. And so why not think of your life also as a story that has a theme for 2024? And so I'll give you some examples. I had two themes in 2023. The first theme was based on the Oscars. If you know anything about me, I break down the Oscars. I treat the nominees for the Best Picture of the Oscars as if it's a palette, like a top 10 movie list. And I look into those nominations and see what is the common threads and themes in those nominations. And last year, one of the common threads was to break through relational barriers and to set up relational boundaries. And so I decided I would take on this concept of breaking through relational barriers because I just really had a passion as I looked across the culture to see that it's why I do Real, but to see that people are so disconnected and how am I part of the solution? How am I part of trying to connect with people and break down those relational barriers? And so I did a very practical thing, which was I started to talk to strangers. Now, for you extroverts, you're like, what? Okay, that's no big deal. But for us introverts, that is huge. Like, I'll give you examples. I would go to get my hair cut, or I'd be at the auto mechanic, and I'd be in the waiting room. And if you looked around the waiting room, everybody's there and they're on their phones and they're trying to get work done or something like that. But they're buried in their phones. And I just decided I would be the guy who would put my phone away intentionally. And I would just kind of, wait for the moment when I could go, well, I like your shoes or something like that. And I would begin to talk to strangers. And I had some of the more meaningful conversations. I just recently had one where I was waiting for my car and I just commented on this guy's hat and we started talking. And man, we went through the litany of conversations, about children and all kinds of, everything. And by the end of our conversation, he's like, are you on LinkedIn? Because I want to be your friend. I'm like, I want to be your friend too. And so we became LinkedIn friends all of a sudden, by the end of the conversation. And it was just really cool because I just found such a joy throughout the year in living out this theme of how do I break through barriers? Like if my story is playing out, how does everyone see me trying to break through barriers? And a very practical thing to talk to strangers. So, and for you introverts out there, I would just recommend this because it brought me such joy. It just fueled me to do it again and again. And it was such a cool thing that when I look back at 2023, I go, that was such a huge theme in my life. The second theme was, a lot of people have like words. If you're a person of faith, you might have something that God gave you as far as a word, that is going to be your theme maybe for the year. And I think that's great. I think that is a theme, actually. But I tend to want to think of it from a story perspective versus just, like here's a word to live out for the year. So for me, from a story perspective, God gave me the word or the phrase strength training. And so I was like, okay, I'll just go with this strength training idea. And I decided to join a gym, not just any gym. This was called Marietta Barbells. And truly, the name is what it is. It is literally just barbells. Now, little backstory here. I'm the drama guy in high school. I have never in my life been into like the weight room. Like that's never been anything. Even when I've joined a gym, I just like get on the treadmill. This gym only has like 2 treadmills, and most people don't use it, because most people in this gym are like, they are serious weight training people, strength training people. Like they are training for the Olympics and are competitive as far as, lifting and things like that. And so I got a personal trainer, and I started a very literal, very, as far as this theme of strength training, like it was very literal for me, like very physical. I was going to be stronger. Now, you have to know in 2023, I really didn't care. I realized real quickly, I didn't care anything about like how much I was lifting and was I lifting more and all this kind of stuff. Like really, it was about flexibility for me. But it was also about being a metaphor. I took this very real, physical, literal thing of weight room strength training, and I made it a metaphor for emotional and spiritually the need to have more strength. And sure enough, 2023 ended up being it was the hardest year for me from an emotional standpoint. And it was because, I would go to this gym and I would do strength training, something that I never did in my entire life that just took me out of my comfort zone. And it became a theme in my life that then played over and was very much a reminder whenever I was dealing with other things in my life from an emotional or spiritual standpoint. So hopefully that provides you a couple of examples of themes that you can look for that are going to be a part of your story in 2024. And if you're kind of like, okay, well, Brian, how do I just come out of midair with this theme? Then look in your movies. Actually, look in your top 10 movies. It's another opportunity to look in the movies that you love and look for common themes that maybe provides a theme for you to step into. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully it helps you who are maybe not resolution and goal oriented, New Year's goal oriented, and it gives you another paradigm to kind of look at how do you start your year. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Real Impromptu.